Checkers and pleasers alike. Welcome to our show, Checkpoint, the show where we discuss and discern the current events of the most recent episodes of Check Please. Today we are discussing Check Please, episode 53, part 2 from last week. We didn't get to finish. And episode 54. I would love to welcome our members today. I am Keni, your fortunate host. Foaly as my co-host, hungry for fleshed out answers.
Hello.
Xeno, our swamp witch, swarm monger.
I also decided to be here.
Beardy, our beloved daddy DM.
Hey, everybody.
And Skrewy, our rock hard holy man, who needs to center himself. And he's muted.
Yeah. Emotionally.
Center. You must be centered.
Yes.
Think of Jiro.
Gotta hit that lovely little button. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. So, getting straight into it, we're going to go back to episode 53. The note here says Kurla and Vera chat, and I literally don't remember what it was about. So, can someone remind me what happened last week, please?
That was them talking about their conversation before where they had insulted each other, and then this was them making up to each other.
Is that what it was called?
It was mending fences after a very frank and open exchange of views, which was great fun. I was not actually expecting this conversation to go as smoothly as it did. I was anticipating more drama to come of it, actually. So I was surprised.
Oh, yeah?
What were your
expecting?
feelings on it, Xeno?
I mean, I thought it went well. It's what I expected to happen as soon as the original argument occurred. What were you expecting? In what Vera was going to say? Because Vera didn't mean the things she said, but she gets angry and just says mean things as a defense mechanism.
I'm not sure what I expected. Perhaps just more pushback. But yeah, Vera was much more sanguine about the whole thing. And it was actually a little bit sad for Kurla, and I think for me to realize that Vera has a certain amount of just very strong insecurity about the difference between blood family versus chosen family, whereas they've seen quite strong about that in the past and quite uncaring, and I think Kurla had taken that at face value, and it's surprising to Kurla to find that actually there is more doubt there. Is that something you can speak to?
Doubt as in terms of talking about family dynamics, you're saying?
Well, just uncertainty. There seemed to be some uncertainty there about whether or not Kurla's jibe about having a real sister versus, a chosen family sister, whether or not that was true or not.
I don't think Vera wasn't really thinking about that during the conversation. They just assumed that everyone was just angry. So, because definitely Vera wouldn't really take that as being an actual fact. It's not even something that's like applicable to them.
She doesn't even consider that as a possibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in Vera's mind, Reduvia is her sister, plain and simple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everyone in the hive is. That's Vera's family.
It'd be like having an actual brother and then someone telling you, well, at least I have a real brother.
And you're like,
but
okay.
I do.
Brother, idiot.
What came across in that conversation was a certain sense of uncertainty on Vera's part, or vulnerability about that. So
I don't remember.
Clearly, that wasn't what you intended to put across.
No, I don't think so. I don't remember that ever coming up in the follow-up. To be honest, I don't remember us talking about that aspect of the argument.
I recall bringing it up at one point, but in any case, it was a week ago now, and a lot happens in a week. So the takeaway from that conversation is that they are now on decent terms again and have a better understanding of where they're each coming from. And it's nice that Vera's not out to kill if they can avoid it. Does that...
Did Vera's trust go down still with being brought up with everything?
I mean, it's definitely was still a diminishment, just in terms of Vera did trust Kurla, or put a lot of faith in Kurla with telling them all this stuff back in, not Presidium, I keep on forgetting.
Yeah, it sounds like Sol's last name, Pollyanna.
Yeah, Pollyanna. And just knowing, oh yeah, I guess it was kind of a fantasy forgiveness for what she did rather than after the fact, once you actually went to the place and be like, oh yeah, this was real. Okay, now it's garbage.
Well, that was a point that also came up in the conversation, though, that was Kurla reminding Vera that everyone was still there, despite having witnessed it and learned firsthand.
True.
Did that mean anything to Vera? Did that change anything in terms of their current position on things and how they've viewed their relationship to the party?
Here's how Vera thinks of it. Vera sees that they asked her to come and help. They didn't turn away from Vera after the fact, but they are still on the fence on whether or not they actually wanted her to be there. So in that case, like, yes, she thinks that it's good that everyone is still there, but they don't know if they want to be.
They don't know if... Vera doesn't know if the party wants her to be there, or Vera doesn't know if Vera wants to be there?
Vera doesn't know if the party wants to be there, like if everyone... Or if they're just there by default.
Gamer farts.
No, it's a difficult position for them to be in. Especially with the fate of the world hanging in the balance.
True.
But from there, after that conversation, there was a little bit of a shopping excursion, which was tricky to navigate when they use a totally different currency system in Qingtao.
I sold an old crystal ball.
Using paper money.
I know, it's disgusting. What
Does the paper money have, like, pictures on them, or is it just denominations? Do they have, like, the emperor's face, or?
It's this man with a mustache.
He twiddles it.
He doesn't have a monocle, but
top hat,
everyone
though, right?
thinks he does.
No, so it's... Imagine, like, a rectangle of paper, and then there's, like, this nice stylized design of the actual numeric value of the bill on the left and right, and then symbols of various dragons in the middle. So...
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say the dragons were in the shape of the number.
No. So there's like a dragon in the middle, and then each denomination of bill has different colored ink on it, and the dragon is a different color as well. None of them have a picture of a face, and none of them have the emperor's face on them. You still have no idea what the emperor looks like.
Would it, in Qingtao, would it be considered, no, not blasphemous, but inappropriate?
Taboo?
Taboo to use the emperor's visage as such?
Possibly. I mean, you guys haven't really dug into that too much.
We could always try it.
Yeah.
Something tells me there's no such thing as what do you call it? Counterfeiting in Qingtao.
Why would they? It's a perfect society.
Exactly.
Has what they need, then. But getting some of this currency, shopping trips ensue. Petravian and Vera are set with their masks because Vera is able to separate their one mask into two in a really
I have two masks.
Gross moment.
No, Vera has two different masks.
Oh, I thought were they not together and you didn't have to split them?
I keep them on, like, in a way on my head, and I switch them around, but I can just take them off.
I had understood in that moment for that you were kind of were one and you reversed it or split it. Okay, well,
Oh, they both stay on because they have like this adhesive honey around the perimeter.
okay. That was where the misunderstanding arose, but
So you just peel it off your face.
gotcha.
His face. Oh.
So Vera peels off part of their face. No, peels off the mask and lends it to Petravian, so they're covered in masks and honey. But the rest of us have to track down some masks for ourselves in order to make ourselves presentable to the dragon whom we have been dispatched to chat with.
And what did everyone get again? I know that Levette got like the Oni kind of classic mask. Or half mask, that is. What did everyone else get?
Curler got kind of a stylized sort of blue-purple kind of night sky / deep ocean abstract kind of mask. Just lots of wavy blues and purples and my favorite colors, effectively. And Keni has come back and is apparently sticking us up. You just need the cowboy hat.
No, this is the mask.
I figured I was just going for silliness there. It's nice. I dig it.
No.
So that is Riz's mask, which we can also, I guess, see in the new artwork that was done for Riz.
Correct.
No.
Because in addition to the masks, Levette and Riz both got some tailoring done on their outfits.
Now almost everyone has gold in their outfits.
Well, Levette didn't get tailoring. Levette got a new jacket from them.
Right. Yes. Which was kind of leather and... Can you describe it again, Beardy?
Describing
Levette's jacket. The
jacket?
Sort of leather and...
That's a bit much for the day, ain't it?
I didn't write that down.
Oh,
so
okay.
no.
Okay. Never mind.
That was
I'm
improv.
sorry. I was
Gotcha.
improv, and it was something that was a character detail that I wasn't going to remember. But I'll leave
Gotcha,
that
I
up to the player to remember.
Sure if that was something Graham
Sorry.
specifically requested. In my mind, you said leather jacket, and my mind went to like a grease lightning type jacket suddenly rocked by Levette, which was entertaining, if not completely inaccurate.
I don't know. I kind of in my mind had like Squall from Final Fantasy vibes.
I know it had fur on its collar because
Yeah,
ever
it had a
since
fur.
Design Grow,
Yeah, furred collar.
I know who took that information.
I mean, if you're going
I
to be spending a lot
know.
of time in the air, it's useful, and I guess Levette is going to does have a tendency to fly around, so it's nice to have that aviator style fur collar.
Yeah, exactly.
And Curler picked up some new bracelets for
Mysterious
a predictable,
reasons.
mysterious reasons, predictable reasons, but that hasn't fully unfolded yet. So,
It's Jiro, isn't it?
of course,
I figured if you said predictable, I was like, all right, I'll guess. Fine.
but yeah, I mean, that's Curler's way of trying to make him feel welcome, but we haven't got there yet.
True.
So, all of us masked up, we head to the Court of Masks to have a word with Her Celestial Majesty, which does not go as smoothly as
What? That went super smooth for me.
we might have.
Yeah, that's great.
I was going to say as smoothly as we might have wanted, but no, as a player, I wanted it to go kind of to a weird mystical place, and it did go to a weird, not mystical, but eerie kind of place, as we all... what did we do? We wandered the halls first, trying to track down the source of the noise of a party without actually finding it, and then eventually Riz uses their
Intuition?
ring. Intuition, or was it the
sorry.
ring?
To find the direction of the dragon. Yeah, I used my ring.
Yes. Which brings us into a big old party room full of distractions laid for each party member. Do we want to each kind of talk about what distraction lay in wait for us? I want to start with Petravian on that, because Petravian's was kind of my favorite next to Levette's.
So, for real, he was just trying to find the servants, to talk to them, to talk to the people who would know and point us the right direction. It was a logical idea. I was not anticipating being accosted by the dinnerware.
By the serving trays.
Yeah.
Were you being accosted, or you just stay there and decided not to move out of the area?
Yeah, was it an excuse just not to not to bother?
See, the problem was he was working within the
Parameters.
confines of I've already made problems. I don't want to make more problems. So he didn't want to go Hulk smash on these things.
Okay.
So he was trying to find a nice, calm way around it, not through it.
Yeah.
Which is fair. and a fresh approach for Petravian to take. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like it needs
Everything
to be hammered. Not touching that one?
No. But then again, every tool is a hammer.
If you use it wrong, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like my fists. Anyways.
Xeno, how about the distraction that was laid out for Vera, or perhaps the intimidation tactic that was laid out for Vera?
That was upsetting. Vera don't like dragons.
Rip Vera.
So Vera getting to see this skulking around dragon, not great.
Not even see, just hear and think it's right around the corner.
No, I saw pieces
like a
of
shadow.
It. No, like I saw a straight up dragon like going into the other room, like
oh yeah,
as it was leaving and stuff.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was freaky. Vera did not have a good time with that.
No.
Meanwhile, Levette catches sight of a beautiful woman and is lured into a back room for the promise of something.
Even before Grem was like, for only those reasons, with like meeting the dragon, I was like, we already know, Grem. We already know. We know what you're doing.
It was Levette wanted to find the most attractive person in the room.
Levette likes tall mommies. I get it. It's fine.
Obviously, the dragon would be the person in the best dress, looking the most beautiful. Obviously.
Also, that was the second one that occurred, correct? I believe.
Yeah, Levette's was the second.
Which
might be going out of order. Apologies for that.
That's fine.
That's
But
fine.
I believe that was the point where Keni was like, I know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, so my theory, like, when Petravian was going through the thing with the food, I was sitting there going, is Beardy giving us exactly what we're looking for? In a weird,
Absolutely.
like, demented way? And then Levette's happened, and you can see in the video me turning to Kyle and whispering, he's giving us exactly what we're looking for. So.
Or in Vera's case, what they're worried about.
Yeah.
But it's just basically like whatever's on the
you're
surface
thinking,
level,
yeah.
whatever you're thinking is what you're getting.
Yeah.
So, Kurla's was concerned that no one was listening to them? I'm unpacking that now, since they were sort of trying to get the attention of a crowd of people and failing to do so because a chatty old man was holding court instead.
Yeah, you were looking for like someone of prominence and importance, someone who was like, talking. And
Beardy.
if I recall roughly what you were.
This person reminded me of someone that we have talked about before, holding court and stuff. At conventions we used to work.
Oh, okay.
Like when you started describing it, I was like, I have this person in mind so specifically now.
It's not who I meant, but okay.
But that's just the image I got based on how you're describing it because of how often you've told that story to other people.
Oh, okay.
And I just think that's funny. I have to be more obscure.
No,
sorry,
you're fine.
audience, but
It's okay.
This is for Beardy.
That's not at all who I intended to
I didn't
conflate
think
this person
so.
with.
I was
but
just like,
that's fine.
it's this person.
Although, interestingly enough, I did make a Star Trek reference during that.
Yeah, that didn't
Anyway.
really.
Right. And finally, Riz gets a dance with Jiro.
Yeah.
In inverted commas.
Or do
Jiro.
I didn't trust the situation. Also, I mentally cannot picture Jiro in white for some reason. It doesn't look like a real person in my head. It's just not a concept I can fathom very easily.
It was reverse Jiro or Orage.
Nega Jiro.
Orage.
But
But you still got to dance with them, which was
it's not
nice.
the real thing. It doesn't matter. So I was already going into this room expecting some sort of trap, and having each person's thing go by, I was already like mega suspicious to begin with. So I'm going into this suspiciously, and I dance with Jiro. Of course, Riz is bad. This is the first time they've probably ever danced with anything or anyone. Super embarrassing. And then to have the moment where I had a feeling that this could be the real Jiro or not, and I was gonna use something a little dastardly to find out, which was using a color similar to what Jiro wore, but specifically choosing an analogous one because I didn't think Beardy's memory would be good enough to say that it was incorrect, so I was going to make my fate correct that way by making it not a real Jiro. Sorry, Beardy.
I mean, whatever. You said purple, and I'm like, it's not really purple. But whatever. I mean, he's not gonna be like, be like, I don't wear purple. He's like in the middle of a different scene entirely, so he's just gonna be like, okay.
So was it really Jiro?
I think originally it was intended to be Jiro.
It probably was really Jiro, but you'll never know now.
Yeah, fuck off.
Lost
Maybe
lore.
that was part of the story that, well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
In either case, I chose to be a little dastardly with finding the lie. And then
Making it a lie.
Making it a lie on purpose. Hi, my name's Riz, and I make my own future.
Yeah, maybe that's what's got you in trouble.
What are you talking about?
No fate but what we make.
So, Riz, of course, done with that whole thing, goes to find the party members, gets them out of their conundrums, and we find the lady herself, her celestial majesty, waiting for us when we get Levette out of a sketch room.
Honestly, I
Lanya.
think we should have given Levette another 5 minutes in there. Just, it's only polite.
Well, I was fully expecting like makeouts happening already, but you know,
There was no
my
sock on the door though, so it's not our bad.
We're in a different country. I don't know if they'd have that kind of thing.
But yeah, so at that
Socks.
point, you guys finally made official contact with Lanyan, which I chose all of the names of the dragons very specifically for very, I picked them out and chose them for a purpose. So that's a name that means blue eyes.
I hate you.
There you go.
With a
Wonderful.
fiery passion.
Blue eyes, white dragon, silver dragon. Okay.
So,
Okay.
Why
There
the
you go.
hatred
Got
on
an
that,
8
Kenny?
on my Constitution save from the... Because it's fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Of course it annoys me.
what Yu-Gi-Oh is great.
The dragon itself had blue eyes.
It's blue. Skrewy said it. Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's a card, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba uses it. It gets worse when I
Okay.
have to.
Hey,
explain
Yoke!
this.
I'm just saying that Lanyan has blue eyes, so her name is Lanyan.
Congratulations, Beardy. I
named her
will
Blue
beat you
Eyes.
up in a couple of weeks.
I don't understand why this is upsetting people. This is simply why I chose the name. In fact, all of the siblings have similar names because of their eyes.
Okay.
So we're gonna get a red eyes black dragon.
Gotta keep looking, you might.
This will at least make for good trivia on the wiki. Shameless plug for the wiki. But this takes us into episode 54, which picks up just as we left off, with us confronted by Blue Eyes herself, Lanyan, her celestial majesty, and a conversation ensues.
I mean, not really accosted. She was just kind of casually waiting there and was like, "You guys got into my little trick." Nice.
She was very friendly.
She was very, like, chill. I was like, we are the worst people here to do this job. We are actual barbarians. I hate ourselves so much more the more we spend time in this country.
Seriously.
Where I'm just like, we're just an embarrassment from where we come from.
Nah, that'll be great.
Shut the
Savages. We're savages.
Yeah,
But
it's embarrassing.
at the same time, though, it was nice a little later on in the conversation when asked what it was that she took away from our encounters with the various illusions that she set up. And I believe the answer that she gave was something to the effect of that we were all worth talking to.
Yeah.
Which was kind
Roughly.
of touching. Beardy, you said it better, so...
I mean, you hit the gist of it, yeah.
Which was... For barbarians, I think that speaks fairly well of us, maybe? Maybe?
Yeah. That you were at least interesting enough to talk to.
Which is
Dragons
good, because
are
we
fickle beings sometimes.
True dat.
learned some important things in that conversation, though, so it is very fortunate that she did consider us worth talking to. Do you want to talk about what we learned?
Yeah.
Well, Riz did a fair amount of the chatting in that, and I think
I wasn't
got
planning
a good
on
bit of that.
it.
No, so I mean, everyone kind of chimed in. We had,
Except
Carla
for
spoke, Levette spoke, Vera, I guess, wasn't too keen on speaking to a majesty, especially
a
a
dragon.
dragon majesty.
The issue is the dragon. And Vera bows to no one, so.
Right.
I can't remember if we got this answered. Has Petravian been bowing at all?
Has Petravian been what?
Bowing.
To individuals like
'Cause you
the
haven't
dragon?
said. and-
No, I have no. He hasn't. He hasn't been
You bowed.
prostrating.
You bowed to the
He-
dragon.
Yeah, as I put the seeds and then like, kind of at the end there, but he hasn't been throwing himself upon the floor every single time.
We don't go on the floor to bow. It's like
from the waist.
yeah. It's like
Did
that.
you imagine we
Oh.
were like going down on our knees and sort of doing the Ewok thing?
How do you
Yeah.
normally
Oh.
bow, Skrewy?
Yeah. Well, you know, Ewoks.
I thought you
Your
were going
teddy
the
bears, right?
full.
Yeah.
I thought we were
Prostrate.
going.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I
when
thought
we-
that's what y'all were doing.
Well, because when Jiro showed it to us, he bowed at the hip. So like we've been doing that
Okay.
kind of bow.
Okay.
It'd be
That
like
is-
kind of dumb to like get on all hands and knees. Like I only do that in the bedroom, you know.
So,
I would say no comment, but I mean, yeah,
It's
So
only
def-
after a good dinner.
so definitive answer:
no.
has Petravian been bowing at all?
Yeah.
Only that one time.
Okay.
The after he gave the seeds, and it was more like, here are the seeds, and then kind of, not even like the full. It was just like, kind of.
Because otherwise, Varus is the only one not bowing.
Yeah. So it makes it a little less awkward. We just have 2 extra barbarian people in our group.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
She
Refuse
was
to show any respect to anybody.
We hit the hardest.
So
So-
what's
Other
the
than
idea
Archie.
behind giving this dragon foreign seeds in a perfectly cultured area of perfect land, perfectly preserved?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what the intent behind that was actually.
Simple. Just, this is what I have. This is what part of the thing that I cherish. Something that I value. And
I suppose that didn't come across really. Petravian didn't really say any of that.
yeah, but it was something important to him, and he figured it was. He's giving
Ah, yes.
something of
My
him.
favorite gifts, the ones that are important to the person giving it to me.
In fairness, this is a dragon who has perceived enough of us and plumbed our depths enough to set up these kind of illusions for us, they would presumably have some insight into Petravian's motives in that moment, even if the rest of us necessarily didn't. I mean, Beardy, was that fair to say, or was this completely confusing to Lonyon?
It's an excellent question, because like Keni brought up, this is like an area that is perfectly cultivated and harmonized to such a fine degree that like even the grass appears in perfect rows. So like, yeah, I know, right?
AI simulation.
So of course she'll accept their seeds. It's like, okay, thank you. Like this is fine, but like they don't worship Eden in the same way that you do.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own religion that they follow. So I mean, she accepted it as a gift, right? She took it in the spirit that it is given, but it's not something that is going to be important to her and her people.
Right.
But she accepts it.
But yeah, but that's the point of the gift from Petravian, is that he's giving something that he cherishes to show that he respects.
Is that how gifts are supposed to work?
Are you feeling like you're getting a gift from your family, Keni?
Yep, I'm real mad right now, actually.
I'm sorry.
Should we maybe move on to the things that we learned in that conversation?
It's fine.
I'm sorry. Move
No.
on.
I have a big pet peeve about gifts because of my family.
I totally get that. Like getting a bowling ball for as a gift.
Well, the thing is, my family makes a show of gifts. They like people opening things in front of them. So gift giving is more for them than it is for the individual receiving something. And I have a big pet peeve against people doing that.
Yeah, weaponized gifting is bullshit.
Oh yeah. But this was
gun
more
rack?
just a symbolic thing for Petravian. Like, I respect you. This is something that's valid. Sorry. And he just wanted to
Present
share
his seed.
some. Okay, you know what? I was avoiding that the entire time. I was being nice. I was being respectful. But if you want me to, I will happily go into about Petravian planting his seeds all over. All
my
over
goodness.
Kintal.
Oh, I'm down.
Wow.
It's Joseph all over.
Please
Or-
elaborate every session.
or
I want to know.
Or
we
we
could
could
be
talk about
seed spreading.
what we learned about the dragons and the Deadlands and stuff.
Exactly.
Well, the second part of the mega spell is a lot more complicated than we first thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, it's
Saying that it's like
a spirit bomb.
not a spell so much as it's like
A
some
life force,
sort of
maybe.
harmonic channeling by an ancient dragon.
Yeah. That was.
And that there's only one other dragon old enough in Kintal to do that, and she's asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it makes.
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So, thinking out loud, the idea of the siphon that, or the spell that Marcus was doing, and if the dragon was drawing energy from what is now the Deadlands, basically it sucked itself.
Excuse me? I was jamming to the Sims like buying theme.
Like the problem, the dragon channeled all the life force of what is now the Deadlands.
Not exactly, no.
Okay, that's when you were describing it. That's what I understood.
Right. So it's not like just taking the energy from the land around it. It's channeling energy in a different way. It's tapping into a different energy source that it's able to access because of its perfect harmony with the world.
Okay.
It's able to tap into a resource that most magic users can't.
It was fascinating to me, but it also made a certain amount of sense thinking about it, in that you have a celestial being and their magic versus, I guess, the indirect magics of another celestial being, in that a lot of, if I'm misunderstanding this, please correct me, but a lot of what Marcus was drawing on there was magic from the trapped Jinn.
The trapped Jinn wasn't the source of the energy. The trapped Jinn was just the controlling mechanism, the direction.
Okay.
The energy itself came from the hells, basically.
Okay.
So he was opening up a rift that was just dumping out vast amounts of negative energy, vast amounts of necrotic energy. I would call it what you will, profane energy, just negative energy, something that would just wash over and destroy life. So it was meant to just be like a big, and the Jinn was really more just the faucet.
Understood.
That makes sense. So the Jinn was able to control that flow and just release this floodgate of death on the battlefield. And then at the same time, the dragon on the Kintao side was able to do something that you guys aren't completely aware of yet, to do something on its side to lob a spell back at the Proteans that did something to them, and then those two spells reacted very poorly with each other and killed everyone.
I thought in the explanation it was said it brought in the opposite. Is that, did I mishear that last session?
It wasn't the opposite of negative energy, no.
Okay.
But it's something that reacted harshly to that spell that was already in place. So when these two effects struck, everybody died.
And in the process, the dragon itself, the dad dragon of Lanyan, Hai Long, also perished.
Correct.
I find it interesting that our working assumption up until this point, and part of the argument that we'd made to get into Kintao, was that the spread of the Deadlands still involved vestigial amounts of the Emperor's power, and that's why it would be able to get through the wall. That had been kind of the assumption or the bullshit that we'd been stating. And now that doesn't seem to be the case, or is not quite the whole story.
And the commoner folk probably believe that to be the case. They believe, oh yeah, of course, the Emperor saved us all. Because they're mortals, they don't know, they weren't there. It's something that their great-great-great-great-great-grandparents may or may not have known either. But, when you're talking about creatures that have lifespans that long, or who were there, or who had direct family members that were there, they're much more knowledgeable about the actual events of that day. So Lanyan knows for a fact that it was her father that saved the day, kind of, if you want to think about it that way, or at least stopped the invasion. And it was taken to be a victory on the side of Kintao.
Bless you.
Because it ended the war effectively.
Well, in order to learn more about this and find out whether or not we need to draw on that kind of power again to prevent the spread of the Deadlands, we are directed to chat with Mum Dragon, or Bai Long, who is, as Beardy mentioned, asleep, but is in Chonglai, the capital city, or just outside. I think you'd mentioned a shrine.
Nearby. Yeah, there's a shrine.
Nearby. And then the wise elder, the Emperor, is in Chonglai. So
Yes.
I guess we're all heading to Chonglai. How are people feeling about that? And our odds of getting an audience with the Emperor, who takes no audiences, or the odds of speaking with Bai Long, who is asleep and is difficult to wake?
What if there is no Emperor?
I'm thinking about that.
Interesting.
The figurehead.
Dragon kept saying, "Oh, he's busy. Oh, he's busy."
It was a little too obscure for me, where I was like, something sussy AF right now.
Well, it's very
Didn't wanna poke
possible
that.
the Emperor is just an idea
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Or it just is her mom, too.
Something is clearly not, I don't want to say not kosher, because it's not. That implies a certain malevolence, and that doesn't seem to be the case. But there is something very unclear about the true nature of the Emperor, whether they are an individual or individuals, or just an idea, or I don't know where I fall on that, but I'm definitely suspecting, as Keni is, and it sounds like everyone else is, that there's more at play there.
We shall see in the coming episodes.
We shall. I'm looking forward to trying to wake up Bai Long.
Oh, easy. Number 1, bring a rooster. Number 2, air horn. Number 3, that trumpet
Bai Long,
spell.
wake up. I don't
Nope,
like
nope,
this.
nope, 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 nope. I appreciate you, just so you know, Skrewy. Just know.
I'm just the entire conversation of the she's asleep. That's all that was going through my head. I'm just sitting there going,
You need to get off TikTok.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Kenny will kill you.
Yes.
Don't do it.
You will date our streams.
And that's why I'm
so
doing
easily.
Don't date
That's why I'm doing
streams.
it now,
They don't make
though.
good partners.
They really don't.
Date honeybees instead.
Date VTubers. You'll always have your waifu then.
But I have a waifu. She's upstairs.
Congratulations.
So we get a map.
Oh, that's right. We got a map.
And I can't quite remember. Do we also get a little printout of local customs and what for whom
No.
the bell
No,
tolls
we
and
did
what
not.
we
No.
don't get one of those.
It was the
okay.
one,
we don't
and
get that.
it's the one thing Vera wanted, and then she threw us out.
She literally just
She was like, peace out, Girl Scout.
We are not
turned
amused
off the lights
by-
and opened the door.
I'm just like, how do I not get wrongfully arrested again? And she's like, bye!
That's up to you
fuck
guys.
be you.
Oh, nice, honey.
It was interesting that she implied that we were not asking. Well, no, not that we weren't asking the right questions, but that there were other questions that we could ask and more information that we could have
Yeah,
sought.
I don't know. I feel dumb whenever
The one
a
question
character
Yeah.
does that.
Same.
I wish I had asked was, why is there no wall north of the mountain range?
It's a desert there.
Yeah.
It's an impassable desert.
Like,
No one can cross
Well,
that
why
unless
is
they
it
have desert
impassable?
power.
it's exceptionally deadly, I'd assume.
Yeah.
Like,
Deadly
living
desert?
living there, what would Vera know about that desert? Like,
Here,
living in
roll
the
for it.
village. Yeah, do you want me
Literally no one goes that way. Like it's not a habitable area.
Okay. Wait, I don't want you to touch my lucky
There
dice,
it is.
actually.
Oh dear.
You'll
Seems like
curse
it would be an okay.
The dry
but it's-
ocean is just it's a death sentence. Like there is nothing there aside from a parched death in the sands.
Oh, do you think do you think Wood Elves use that as a trial anywhere in there?
Yeah, but I feel like you got a group like us. Just create water a bunch of times, and we just make our way through.
I feel like there's a lot more to it than
of course,
look,
and that's what
you're
I was
welcome.
wondering.
You're welcome to try, but you
Don't
didn't.
like that.
You went to the wall. So
if we had gone there, there would have been 17 Dune references each episode.
Like, there's already
Yes.
enough, like, before
Mhm.
not even touching it, so I'm good. I'm really
There
good.
haven't been
Yeah.
that many. We've been mostly good. A
That's
lot of
'cause
the
we didn't
references have
go
come
to
during
that
checkpoint instead of check please.
I die every time. Every time someone does it, a fairy loses its wings.
Fairy loses its
fuck the
wing.
Fae.
Don't trust the Fae.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's true.
fairy. I can live with it. So we exit the Court of Masks, and quite conveniently, it is October 31st, the Feast of Owen, our
birthday,
world's
Karis.
version of Halloween. Happy birthday, Karis! And we get to
Birthdays
experience
don't
some of the local ceremony and local
Mhm.
culture and the way that the individuals of Kintao celebrate this day, which was really quite sweet. Beardy, what did you have in mind for this? What were you modeling this on?
So what I was modeling this on was a number of different, either carnival or festival tradition from different cultures, and then I think the tables in the middle of the street thing is actually like Spanish in origin. I could be wrong about that, but I wanted it to sort of epitomize the sense of community that these cities have. Where they'll just, they can just put a dining table out in the middle of the street and everybody shows up, and, each family puts their dining table out in the street and all the families sit together in one big area and have an enormous communal meal to celebrate this holiday. And then they leave the chairs open for any particularly missed loved ones.
Which was my favorite part of the episode. The
The
everyone-
eating together.
well, eating together with like the empty chairs and that.
Mm-hmm.
Mine too. That was a really powerful.
I
And
liked
just
it as
quiet.
a player.
What's up?
Riz doesn't really have like family to speak of, and they've never actually talked to Owen before.
Because Riz is a sociopath or some shit.
You got horses that you missed.
But I have all my horses here, is what I know.
True.
That's how Riz has taken that situation. So they're not really gone. So yeah, it was a little awkward where Riz was like, "Yeah, I want to sit with everyone."
I mean, you could have had Jiro sitting there preemptively.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yikes.
See, I thought Grem would have to scoot down a few spaces.
A few more chairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
No one
coming
did it
from
for
Petravian, I mean...
I mean,
no seats for Marcus.
to be fair, Vera's single chair was for like 100 people.
That's true. Hundreds of people. All who died in that terrible,
Empty
terrible
chairs
event.
at empty tables.
No! I was specifically making sure that wasn't brought up. Stop it!
But it was, as Xeno said, it was, I think you said it was your favorite moment. It was my favorite moment too, just that quiet, peaceful, under the Chinese lanterns. Just very evocative, definitely painted a picture in my mind, and it was just a great to absent friends type moment, and I think it's kind of a nice bit of calm before the oncoming storm.
And then the children.
Which I'm sure Keni loved that bit too.
Well, we didn't really interact with the children. Why would I care?
Knowing your
No children were actually involved. It was just like, there are children here, and I'm over here
they're
like,
present.
Perfect. Non-existent, not real children. My favorite.
Wow. There were children present, and then there were children at heart present, mainly in the form of Petravian, who was desperate to use the bellows, bless him.
And there's also child-sized characters present as well.
I just love how he did not read the room on that end. I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, you walked into this one on your own.
Yeah.
And the people are just like, this is for the kids to do.
It's like a grown-ass man going alone to trick or treat.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
That's kind of what you did.
Fun.
That is
Yes,
fun.
trick-or-treating is fun. I'm sure most of us still want to do it, but we're not supposed to.
Yeah,
We can-
it's why adults have drinking parties on Halloween.
No,
reason
you
why
can
the-
do it.
That's
You
why
just gotta
people
make
have
the
children.
person laugh that you ring the doorbell. You have to make the person laugh. You have to earn it.
You
can't
mean
just don't
nervously
get it for
laugh
free.
as they see an adult man standing in front of them in a murderer costume?
I thought the whole point of having kids
the
was
candy.
so you could go and get candy with
Yeah,
them,
I-
because you're taking them to do their Halloween.
Yeah, you-
Is that?
Having children.
No, you're taking them so that you can take their candy later.
That's what we're
Got it.
saying.
Yeah, that's.
But I mean, let's just
It's
cut to the
rude.
chase and say that the real important thing here is that as an adult, you can simply just buy candy.
Yeah.
That's I was
true.
gonna say, it's like the reason why it's
You
not
can skip
weird.
the entire rigmarole.
You know, like people who are like, "Oh, you can't go to Disney if you don't have kids." Like, fuck off.
Fuck you.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, I'm paying money for that. You can buy candy
Yeah.
anytime.
Anytime you want.
You don't have to ask for handouts because you have a paycheck usually.
Yeah.
But kids don't. And then you steal their candy for some reason.
hmm
And I
Yeah.
do not accept this, actually. Even as an adult who hates children, stop taking your kids' candy. It's rude.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
My
That's
parents,
all they get.
My parents never took any of my candy, so
Congratulations. They loved you more.
Yeah, they loved you more.
Yeah. But
My kids offer me candy, so
aw,
They probably
Well-
think you need it.
Levette got to make use of their height advantage, or their height anyway, to pass as a child in order to get some of this candy, which turned out to it was candied clouds, I believe, was the name for it
Yes.
in
Yep.
universe. But
I was waiting for you to call it candy floss in the episode.
I am gonna call it candy
knew it.
floss.
It just sounds so gross when floss is involved.
Initially, I thought it was going to be fireworks that they were like prepping to let off.
Oh, I was
but-
yeah.
anticipating
So how-
that to happen at the end. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So how early did you guys get that it was going to be cotton candy or candy
When I
floss?
started freaking the fuck out.
Okay.
on
Around
camera.
when you started saying there were people mashing up things, and when you mentioned the bellows, I immediately went, "Oh, this is cotton
Yeah.
candy."
Okay.
Yeah. I think the crushed up like powder clued me in the most. For some reason,
Mhm.
I was like, "This is probably cotton candy."
I didn't get it until they were literally making it.
Until I
I
told
got
you.
it as soon as the things was starting to spin. I'm like, cotton candy. I thought the powder was going to be was going to be used to
Maybe
shoot out
it's
some
because
sort
I
of
watched
rocket.
too many like cotton candy art videos that I'm like, "Ah, yes, I understand."
Of course, cotton candy.
So is it cool if I kind of explain why I was
Yes, please do.
excited by this, which I didn't quite realize at the time, but I've since kind of realized.
Yeah, sure.
So, as you may have noticed, I am from England originally.
What?
No.
No.
I know.
Wait a minute.
Shock horror,
This
right?
explains so much.
I'm sorry, we
Right.
can't have any limeys in our game. Get out.
What's
No.
it?
Get out.
Filthy Sassenach bastards. I know. But yeah, born there, grew up there, have lived there several times since. And what you may not know about England, and this is also going to come as a huge shock, is that it is very cold and rainy and not sunny most of the year. Pause for the gasps of surprise.
But I thought the British people had such wonderful personalities.
Have you met me, Skrewy? Anyway. So for this sort of like month and a half, maybe, that you're lucky to get good weather, a lot of the Brits like to go to the beach during the summer. They go to the seaside, as we call it. When I lived there, we would go once a year for maybe a day or a weekend to visit my grandmother, my mum's mum, in a place called Clacton-on-Sea, which is the seaside to the east of England. And as a lot of families do when they're not very well off, we would sort of pack sandwiches and drinks beforehand so we wouldn't have to buy the overpriced pier/seaside food. But because my sisters and I would save up our pocket money, our allowance, we would have just enough to buy sort of an ice cream or candy floss. Cotton candy. So I kind of now remembering these trips to Clacton when I was 5 or 6 and just being entranced watching them make candy floss and getting to spend my hard-earned summer holiday pocket money that I'd saved up in order to buy a big old thing of candy floss. And yes, it got everywhere and all over your hands and mouth and was a kind of a pain in the butt, but that joy kind of came back to me in that moment with the kids in Kintao getting to experience some of that and just the fun of watching it being made and the different tastes and the fact it was a once in a year type thing, unless they're very fortunate. I was very, very excited in that moment because it brought back those nice childhood memories. So thank you, Beardy, for that.
So
Do what I
Hence
can.
why I was doing this on screen, which I feel silly about, but you know, it was nice.
Yeah.
So I want to rate
Oh,
these.
no.
We're gonna go from 1 being worst, 10 being best.
Okay.
All right, England, candy floss.
I really hate the idea that like floss is involved because I think of dental cleaning when I think of that word.
I'd say it's default 4 to 5 for me.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
it's not horrible, but it is weird to say floss.
I like
mean-
people saying fairy floss for some reason.
Yeah. Well, that's the next one.
Oh, I'm
up.
sorry.
What?
Go on.
Is no one else going to answer?
Yeah, does anyone else have
Oh,
ratings
oh,
on that?
Oh, okay. Candy floss. I'm gonna give it like a 3 because yeah, it does have these allusions to like dental
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like that should not be part of candy. Candy is the opposite of dentistry. Everyone knows this. Yeah, so my answer's 3.
It has no associations with dental floss to me because obviously the Brits don't have any concept of dentistry. So I'm going
Thank you. Thank you. I wasn't gonna bring it up. I'm glad you did. So 10 out of 10.
Oh, 11 out of 10.
Oh, 11 out of 10. All right.
We're bad at
I
maths too.
guess I'd put it down at 2 for me.
2? Okay.
Yeah. What about
Screwy?
you, Screwy?
Screwy.
Real low because when I hear candy floss, I think of like Nerd's Rope.
It's delicious, but
Nerds are
okay.
wonderful.
It is
All right.
delicious.
Yeah.
But also a bit
But-
hard on the teeth.
It is
But-
a bit rough
Yeah,
on the teeth.
that's
yeah.
true.
I do
It
need
is
to
a bit.
floss after that. You're right.
But
Yeah.
so
Oh,
next, Australia, Finland, fairy floss.
Mhm.
It's about the same. Kind of
But-
implies that it's small floss and
Mhm.
just a single line.
Yeah, I like that it implies that it's floss for a fairy.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I like the fact that it brings in the fae. I'm gonna give that like a 6 out of 10.
I oddly think of that string
like that as
bubble
flossy.
gum that baseball players
Big
would
League Chew.
instead of actual cotton
Big League
candy.
Chew.
It makes me think of that for some reason instead.
Oh, weird.
It does
Okay.
also imply magic, so
Yes.
that is also a bonus.
Yeah.
So I'd say
But
probably
candy
a
is magical.
6.
I'm
I was gonna say
gonna
4.
I gotta give that a 2 out of 10 because in my mind it gives the horrifying mental image of someone like a dragon flossing with a whole like string of tied together fairies.
Oh, that's lovely.
Help us!
That's going up in
all right.
my list
I
now.
I know what I'm gonna do. Hold on, I got some writing to do.
What about you, Skrewy?
4.
Okay.
It doesn't do
Four
it for me
is
for some reason. It's like it doesn't do it for me.
Okay, next, Francais. Papa's beard.
Beg pardon?
0.
That's
0 out of
It
10.
implies eating hair.
Can I do a
That's-
negative value on this? Like, I
Seriously.
think that may be a
What the
0 out of 10.
fuck?
Like
France.
The only thing I like about it is because I'm imagining this bear of a man with a pink beard, and that's adorable. So
Yeah.
That's
I'm
gonna give that a 0.
No.
If
But
I can
still,
give it the lowest
eating
rating I
hair.
can, so 1 out of 10. It
you
is.
got it.
It is terrible. It does bring in the concept of
0.
eating hair, which is just frightening and disgusting.
Like, I like how they refer to Santa Claus, but that one's a bit much for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say 0 out of 10 because I'm imagining now. I'm looking at your beard, Beardy, and remembering how Kenny likes to call you Daddy DM, and
you're gonna-
I'm thinking,
Oh.
This is Papa's beard, and it's like, why would anyone want to eat this? It's disgusting.
No,
Like,
no,
I'll put it in my mouth.
no.
Like, it's not.
So-
Nope.
No.
So next is cotton candy.
Nope, I do not need Cheetos in my
10.
teeth.
Cotton candy wins.
Cotton candy.
It looks
10 out of
like
10.
cotton. It's candy. Okay, it works.
It works. It fits. The name's perfect. It's one of the best confections there is. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 just because I want to
9
give 10 out of 10 to
9 out of 10.
I'm sorry, to
But-
Candied Clouds.
But there is one more.
What do you got?
The Netherlands. Sugar spider.
Why would you do
I'm
that?
giving a solid 7 to 8 out of 10 because it is mildly threatening.
Is sugar spider like is it pluralized or is it just singular?
Well, it's a sucre spin. So
Okay.
I assume it means like web in a way. Like
Hold
spun
on,
spider
I got
kinda thing.
that. Have you ever seen a big clump of daddy long legs?
Oh,
Yes.
Sugar spin.
No.
I mean that would just mean I mean is spin spider or
Actually, I
spin
have no
spinning?
idea. I just like, oh, spin. That's English.
Netherlands.
So I don't know. Like what's the translation of that? Is it sugar spider?
Sugar spider.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what this picture has, at least.
I'm now just thinking of Dutch confectionery and
Like-
craving a stroopwafel.
Like
but
obviously, I can assume that is based on webbing because it's like, oh yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
web
I mean,
ball,
sure. It's a ball of webbing. That's
which is what I
sweet.
talked about in the episode. I made a joke
Mm-hmm.
about it. It's like, oh, it's web. It's that which hungers confectionery sugar.
Mhm.
no wonder Curler enjoyed it so much. But we all get to enjoy it, and there's some lovely back and forth as well as Vera tries to make sure that Jiro has enough, having misinterpreted the fact that Jiro and Riz was sharing one.
I enjoyed that part.
Xeno lives for the chaos.
I do. I'm 100% fine with Vera not understanding social cues.
But then the hits for poor Petravian keep on coming, because from not getting to play with the bellows to having his role as the bridge.
I waited till he ate his cotton candy.
You let him have that.
Well, the thing was, Petravian's been like kind of going up a stairway of saying things that are kind of insulting to the Eden religion in Riz's opinion. And of course they don't know enough about Malifera's religion to speak on that end. So they're always like, okay, what does this mean? Vera, I need explanation on this stuff, right? But at least from the Eden aspect of things, it's been bothering Riz more and more that Petravian doesn't seem to be doing this bridge work that he's been tasked with after being revived with the royal honey. So Riz wanted to get to know what his game plan was behind it, because it seemed like he was doing kind of
Fuck all.
bad things
Yeah, I would say
for a good religious person.
because we've talked about this before. Because I
Yeah.
always say when I talk about Vera's a bad person who's trying to do good in their eyes. Petravian is a kind of gray character who says that they're good. I feel like.
So, Riz was very frustrated, and traveling with someone for the first time who, obviously, one person worships one of their gods, and just feeling like their religion, one of their religions, is getting kind of trashed on a little bit, they were getting annoyed, to say the least.
And this has been boiling since the very beginning of the season, with Petravian worshipping by way of Wayism.
Riz has
Skrewy,
tried guiding him.
your response, Skrewy. Defend yourself. No, I'm kidding, but
Nah.
your response.
Nah, mate. Nah.
Nothing?
No?
Nail on the fucking head.
So you
It's not-
agree with that criticism from Riz?
No, these are valid criticisms. He had mentally stalled in he had these ideas of what he wants, not necessarily the way to get there, and more pouring himself into doing the saving the world aspect.
Because
But go ahead.
no, because for me it was a lot about I kept on hearing Petravian saying, "Oh, I have these questions to ask," rather than "I have this thing to do." It's always about asking questions of the gods and not actually like doing something tangible.
The questions, when asking the questions, it'll give him the insight. Hopefully, with the answer, it was give him insight on how to get what he needs done.
But he's already been given that information.
Again, stalled, but it was a much needed.
Kicking the nards.
I'd like to say like a rolled up newspaper to the nose.
Tomato,
It was a come
tomato.
to Eden moment.
To the nose.
But yes,
Fucked up.
Yeah, you just had your nose worked on. That's so rude.
but no, it was rough.
Well,
So
It was
rough for
definitely
Petravian or rough for you as a player?
Rough for me as a player.
Oh, that's sad.
go on.
Huh?
Oh, I was just curious, because Riz's
No,
criticisms were the characters, obviously.
I know. No, I know. But how Petravian acts also stems from also a mixture of how I don't get things very quickly sometimes. So it's there's an intermix in there. So it's criticisms of the character, not the player, but it's there's on Riz's side, but on my side there's the bleed over. So it's like, yeah, I as a player have been fucking up. So it's it was it was hard to hear, but needed to be.
How you doing now?
Well, with the following night's events with Riz, and then the 3 nights, or the
3
couple
days.
days afterwards on traveling, it feels like it's in a more better direction.
Cool. and we'll get into that. Because we're still... The Feast of Owen would not be complete without a flash to another place in Adrian, which I had honestly thought was going to be seeing what Marcus was up to,
Same.
or the Emperor even.
Well, Beardy put on the scary music cue. How are we not supposed to anticipate it to be a bad guy? I'm so mad. And then he made me feel guilty, even though I can't control my kids all the time. Like, making it seem like I didn't fucking take care of their mom or anything. It's fucking awful. Dick move.
It was a fun, evil move on your part, Beardy, so thank you for that.
Do what I can.
As a side note, though, you mentioned the evil music cue. Folks may have noticed the music cues were a little bit different in this episode. Did you want to touch on that briefly?
Sure, yeah. So what I managed to do was get a bunch of music from the same source that I normally do, which is a royalty-free music channel on YouTube that sort of has different music for fantasy roleplay stuff. And they have a whole bunch of stuff that are like Asian inspired. And I was like, I'm going to use this for Kentao. So
Thank you, Emily. Roll for Fantasy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate. And honestly, like, not just for the music, Emily Roll for Fantasy also runs the Fantasy Name Generator website, which is one of the best websites on the internet. Thank you so much. There are so many amazing name generators in that. It makes life so easy for me. Anyway, so went through, grabbed a bunch of Asian-inspired music, both for combat and for roleplay situations and for exploration, everything. So I grabbed like 9 different tracks, put them into the system, so we have those for this part of the game.
It definitely added something to the atmosphere, I felt. Do y'all feel the same?
Yeah. It's exciting to get new music, in my opinion. But moving on, we kind of settled in for the night, gathering together, and kind of in still a chill energy moment, Kurla takes out their lute and starts playing for fun. It gets a nat fucking 20!
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, this is the loot that they picked up at, I think, Fort Grigoli in the Deadlands, that they've busted out maybe twice before, once when we were heading into Prota, I think. And a while ago, at one of the level ups, I put 1 point into Perform String, which gets the Charisma bonus. Between that and the Nat 20, it turned into more than just them strumming and practicing. Apparently they were inspired in that moment. I figured they do sometimes take it out and strum it, so they're not completely unpracticed, but that was a surprise to me as a player. I'm glad Jira got in on that.
Juggling ninja stars, Beardy?
It seemed like it was something to do at the time. It was either going to be that, or he was going to like sit down and start like clapping or like tapping on things as like a percussion thing. But I don't know. I went with the juggling.
I enjoyed that as a moment. I'm glad people went with it.
I was glad that Jiro joined in, because it gave Vera a distraction.
That's true. You got to
Riz.
pull Riz aside into your fucking room that I forgot I designed a specific way.
Wonderful.
God.
Yeah, Pearl, I think that's the first time you've truly shown how uncomfortable Risen was.
Yeah, all the other times they've gotten to just walk away from the situation and not have to deal with it. But it kind of revealed itself a little bit in Vera's room, where Riz could not really focus on what they were talking about from
Buzz.
all the bee noises. And as someone who just mentally shuts down around stinging insects, it's awful. I hate it. And I am incapable of doing most things other than walking in a straight line, and for some reason my eyes start closing when they're around because I can't keep my eyes open or I'll have like a panic attack. So I kind of like do this weird like small blinks to figure out where I'm going so I can walk away, because you know you're supposed to walk away from the bee, right? It's not gonna harm you, but that doesn't stop the fact that there were so many hornets when I was little that stung me.
So
yeah.
playing Riz's trauma in that moment was not too much of a stretch in terms of acting.
No, I know exactly how to be terrified of bees. Yay!
Bet. So Vera gave you a special
Limited
scroll.
Wish scroll.
Yeah.
And that was super cool. And I really dread if I need to use that, because holy shit, I'm gonna make myself a big sad otherwise.
Now, refresh my memory, Xeno. This was one of the 2 that you picked up to help Petravian, one of
Yes.
which was supposed to be to get rid of the curse, and the other was to help bring him back to life, neither of which you needed, and the first of those went to help reverse some of what had happened to Levette's mum.
Correct. It's part of
Okay.
the like 10 to 20k package I bought to help Petravian out in Proda. That all went to waste.
So much money spent on Petravia.
Because we value you so much.
Because I'm worth it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You hit things good. You hit good things good, boy.
But I'm glad having put that expense in, and those having not been needed in that situation, that we are seeing them come into the plot and be used, so that the Chekhov's guns are firing, just not at the moment that we would have necessarily thought they would. But
Sure.
they're still going off. Potentially. I mean, as Keni said, if that has to come into play to keep Jiro amongst the living... Do you want to talk about that, Keni? What you might have in mind for how you would structure a wish for that? Or is that something you want to keep close to the
So,
vest?
The idea is probably some sort of more powerful modify memory.
Ooh.
The issue being, of course, removing all the memories of being in Kintao so that he never betrayed the most awfulest law or whatever.
So basically every
Or
memory with Riz.
Yeah.
Or just ever meeting us. Any of us.
Ooh.
I mean, that would be a
Brutal.
little confusing since we'd probably drop him off with the lightning blades.
Or teleport him. over
Yeah,
there.
like teleport him, use the spell, get real sad. So,
Well,
yeah.
interestingly, because of, I think, Petravian, we never heard what was said
What
between
was on Jiro's
Donovan
chest?
and
Oh,
Jiro.
that's right, that
So
moment.
we don't
Oh.
know what
Thank
Jiro
you for that,
told
Beardy.
Donovan.
I didn't feel shitty enough at that particular moment.
So
So, you know what? Just add that little extra spice in there.
That's what I do.
So if Jiro loses their memories in that way, we have no way of knowing whether or not he'll learn that he was planning on going into Kintao, and what he'll make of that if he revealed that plan to Donovan, which could lead to strife if it comes down to some sort of memory changing. So yeah, the potential for a lot of drama. So awesome, well done.
Yay.
Conflict. Oh, I hope it doesn't come to that. I want Jiro and Riz to be happy.
This is part of my punishment.
I want,
I'm
I
well
want
aware.
Jiro and Kenny to be happy too.
I love Beardy very, very much.
Aw, thanks.
But I also know we both like torturing each other.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mine stems from low self-esteem and the understanding that I don't deserve happiness.
It's a really heavy episode here, folks.
Mine's
Wow.
pink face, probably.
Fair enough.
I'm like, I don't know if it comes from anything. I just know I really like it normally.
Punish me, DM Daddy. Is that the?
Yeah. Punish me, DM Daddy.
Yeah.
I got you.
Whew. Is it getting hot in here, or is it just
pineapple? Anybody?
as a safe word?
Okay.
Just use yellow,
Zipper.
green, red.
But after Vera kindly gave Riz this scroll, Petravian was kind of looking lost in the world as everyone went to bed, and Jiro went over to talk to him.
And the wounds already inflicted on Petravian have some salt and lemon juice rubbed into them.
And he chose not to say, "I'm sorry, Jiro. I don't understand what you're saying."
Just plays it off. Yep.
Like, I really
And that was a big
appreciate
moment for Jiro, right, Beardy?
Oh yeah. I mean, he totally was bearing his soul. It was great.
Yeah. But I couldn't. He was when somebody bears their soul to you.
You didn't know
can't be
that.
like,
You don't even know what he was saying.
Yeah, but it looked really important, and I didn't want to stop them mid-sentence.
Maybe after the sentence, because, you did be like, "That's nice, buddy."
That's
Thanks.
rough, buddy.
I did not say, "That's nice, buddy." I said, "Thank you, Jiro. Thank you so much for telling me."
You got some of the gist. I mean,
I got the
bear-
emotion of it. That's about it.
Yeah. My question is, did Riz observe any of it? It would have been from behind,
Beardy
but they would
said
presumably have
no.
seen some of... Okay, so it
You're all
really
the way
was a
over there.
moment lost
and I
in time.
respect Beardy's choice because he is the DM daddy, and he has punished me on this day.
See, Jiro's giving all this flavor, and Petravian got the LaCroix version, the hint of the conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We love you, Skrewy.
I just want to know what it was. I really badly just want to know what it was.
Can we find out after the end of the season, Beardy? Will he
remember?
I will tell you after the end of the season.
Write it down, bitch.
It's just going to be the solution to the other side of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, a further crushing moment for Petravian.
Well, he didn't know it happened.
The the hits keep on coming because Riz decides to have a little conversation / narc session to the gardener.
That's what Riz does. They were concerned about the path. But yeah.
Oh, question. Skrewy. What did you think as soon as Risen started narking on you?
Two emotions. This bitch.
That is what I do.
This bitch. And hey, you know what? Maybe this is it'll give him some insight. But this bitch.
What did you think of the suggestion that a small child could do a better job than Petravian? With Reduvi being mentioned as a potential bridge.
I'd like to not think of that.
I do have a question about that.
Yeah.
Were you implying Reduvi now or Reduvi after she had been raised with Vera?
Reduvi after.
Okay.
I thought that because Reduvi, probably after we were done with our mission, was probably being raised by both Petravian and Vera. And I thought Reduvi would obtain enough information from Petra to kind of influence Vera a little bit easier, because Vera obviously has a soft spot for Reduvi. And I thought accomplishing the bridging of the two religions would be much more succinct with Reduvi based on the outcome being that. So that's why Riz suggested Reduvi. That, and they don't know anyone else who's Vera's close enough with, because obviously Riz doesn't know Soul or anything.
True.
So they couldn't suggest someone else in Vera's life because they just don't know those people.
And in defense of Petra, the gardener shot that idea down pretty quickly.
True.
the gardener still seems to have an amount of faith in Petravian. And Beardy, maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. The gardener has not seen Petravian fail. Like Petravian is just in the process of doing the work. So it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pull him off of the job until he
Riz didn't say right now though. That's the thing. Riz was like, hey, if we finish all this stuff together and he hasn't done anything to get it anywhere, then I recommend someone else.
Yeah, and then of course the gardener's like, yeah, and Reduvi's not an option.
Yeah. Just fascinating what her destiny is.
And in terms of gods and individuals having confidence in other individuals, apparently the gardener is betting on Riz to succeed.
But not most of everyone.
Yeah. Kenny, what was your response to that?
I did not get that from that conversation. I got that the gardener was betting against Riz, to be honest.
They literally said, I'm betting for you.
Right? Didn't he...
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I for some reason when I heard him, like, oh wow.
No, but the gardener did imply that everyone else, it's a much smaller pool that supports Riz than a pool that supports Riz failing. Yay. Hilarious though, not gonna lie. I think it's fucking funny, but also oof.
No, when I misheard that on the inside, I'm like, ha ha.
I mean,
you're gonna narc on me. You're gonna narc on Petra and their on the inside.
I mean, well, that's not what happened. But even still, like,
yes, that's why I'm saying I misheard
stacked against Riz in this situation. So they're like, okay, yeah, I literally don't know what to do at all. I do not have the solution to fix my problem. So yeah, I get it. It doesn't feel good to hear it again, but I get it. Oh well. Take it on the chin.
And again, that notion as well that doing your best and that having to be good enough is not good enough for Riz, that which has come up before in conversations that Riz has had. Coming up again, and Riz pushing back against the idea that doing one's best is enough.
Never enough.
Do you want to speak to that at all, or just let that?
Oh, that's probably me coming in a bit more into Riz, my own personal feelings getting intermixed in there. I'm constantly disappointed by people. So I believe wholeheartedly, this is coming a lot of work stuff, so I'm trying not to like bring that in too much, but people constantly disappoint me. So I believe that sometimes people's bests aren't good enough, and that's why I hold myself to that standard where I'm like, hey, my best might not be good enough for other people, so I'm going to try to do better than my best. It's how I win at life, obviously.
Does that put the blame on them for not living up to your expectations?
Some people. If I hate them. If I hate them, definitely.
I mean, if someone does something to their best and fails and just says, yeah, I accept that, then that's on them.
Yeah.
If they're like, oh, no, I'm not even going to try to do better, then yes.
Yeah.
If they genuinely tried their hardest, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, they tried, but next time, do your best again. Do better.
Do better.
Yeah. It's always about self-improvement.
True.
You only fail when you finally quit.
Yeah, exactly. So, but...
It's good to clarify that, I think.
Wholeheartedly, Riz, I don't think knows what their best is, probably. So, when everyone says you tried your best, Riz is probably like, I don't think it is, though. So I have to keep trying to get to whatever that is. there's too many unknowns for themselves to completely accept that what they did that failed was their best. They refuse to acknowledge that they will be better.
And now I'm getting that uncomfortable ADHD feeling of never living up to one's potential and never having given enough effort.
What?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's a
I've
fun
never
one.
experienced that.
Oh, me neither. No, never.
No, never. No idea what that's like.
Oh.
No,
Moving.
What's the worst is knowing you gave it your all and you still failed.
No, what's worse is never knowing if you've ever given anything in your entire life your all.
Yeah.
That's
I gotta
where
go with
Riz
Beardy
is.
on that one.
Yeah.
God, I hate that. But anyway, moving along.
Yeah, so that's kind of
Let's
where
move
Riz
along.
is coming along with that whenever they bring that up. They just don't know.
But Riz does get a blue flower out of the
What
conversation.
the fuck
Or
was
do
that,
they?
Beardy? What is it? What does it mean? Do I have a new magical power? I need to know.
It's just a fucking flower, man.
It'll
Or is it just Beardy screwing with you?
Yes,
it'll
probably.
make sense
Yes,
later.
yes.
I love you.
I
I'm
was-
still gonna kill you, but I love you, and
I
I'm
was-
going to also treat you a baby.
I was really hoping that you'd open your hands and it would be there so I could make a Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street reference, but
Yes.
no.
See, I wanted the blue flower to be there so I could cultivate it and give it
Aw.
to Jiro.
Bless.
So I was being a hopeless romantic and being like, oh, no flower. Sad boy.
I mean, it is like the last thing that happened almost, so you just haven't had a chance to look around yet.
It's true.
You might find that flower sooner than you think.
Being,
Growing on me!
being eaten by chisel.
Oh, it's tattooed on you now.
Oh no. I mean, it'd be cool, but
Yeah.
I don't even check my naked body.
Check your moles, folks.
Check, please.
But I think a couple days later, Levette and Kurla have their first one-on-one-ish conversation of the night, or of the session. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of it went into a lot of circles, so I was getting very confused after a while what was actually being talked about. Because it felt like it was a conversation where both people were not listening to each other, and I was having a hard time, like, just following it. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that was my ADHD, but I really tried. I don't. Would you mind going into that one?
No, I think they were talking past each other.
Okay.
I don't think they were aligned in what either one of them was trying to express.
Okay, what were you guys trying to express?
I mean, I can't speak for what Grem was trying
Well,
to
yeah,
express.
but for Kurla, you have
Kurla-
that part.
Kurla was trying to express their concern about Archie and their desire to put their power and knowledge behind whatever steps Levette is prepared to take to help Archie, and if that also applies to Moira and Mark too, then they will help out with that as well. And there wasn't the opportunity to delve into the why of that, unfortunately, because Levette got inspired and ran off, which also bothered Kurla because that's part of why they wanted to bring this up with Levette, the idea that Levette doesn't have to do everything on their own and should confide in their party members and get feedback.
I think Levette is.
Well, they're confiding in Riz, but I think Kurla just wants to help, and
Can Kurla help?
yes,
Okay.
'Cause I
maybe
do-
not with Archie, but with Moira and Mark too. Yes, I think that Kurla can help.
I do remember one aspect of that conversation. Levette talked about it's not a difference of help, it's a difference of expertise.
Yeah.
Which I understand that. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like imagine like an artist
I knew you were gonna do
and
this.
just being like, no, but I can color it. And the artist is like, but I can do it better.
So
Well,
please don't
I don't-
touch my things.
I don't know if that analogy necessarily works. Levette is combining mechanical aspects with spiritual and magical aspects, and I know that the lines there have been blurred in just the way that the flavoring of Levette's class and magic works, but within the story, a lot of what Levette has done with mechanical stuff and playing with souls, trying to give life to things, from Curler's perspective, hasn't really gone well. And that is what Curler is seeking to aid with, because I think Curler feels that they have a perspective on life and death and the soul that is coming from a different direction that might be useful to Levette in working some of this stuff out. I think Curler is an untapped resource for Levette in this.
Potentially.
Potentially, and I could be completely wrong on that, but I think Curler wants to at least put that out there, and is because they're concerned about Levette and they're concerned about Archie.
But I think Levette's more at the mechanical stage of things at the moment, and I think that's what she was trying to get at, was that she's building the thing, right?
Yeah, that came across. So maybe Curler was coming in a little bit too early in the process. We'll see, but they were keen to make themselves available.
Riz didn't like the part where Levette's like, I'm a god now because I can make souls. And Riz just sitting here like, bitch.
Oh, that's
the fuck you say?
the other concern, because Curler's always been a little bit worried about Levette's tendency to act like a god and manipulate forces that they don't necessarily manipulate with the kind of thought and respect that Curler would like to see, and that comes to Curler's attitude towards Moira and Mark too. Now,
sometimes I wish Soul was still around, just for little moments here and there, just little things.
Well, I will say I had Vera in her room at this point, so
yeah.
I couldn't even have her be like, "Oh, I heard something." It's like, no, because there's no sound going through the doors.
Just the sound of buzzing.
But Vera would have been like, well, I mean, you're making it, so it's not a real soul, is it? It'd be like, oh, imagine you found this perfect diamond, or you created one. Which one has more value? It's the one you found, isn't it? It's not the one that you artificially made. Vera would probably attribute the same thing to the souls. Like, yeah, you made one technically, but what does that mean? Like, what... Is that a true soul? Or is there a difference between a natural soul? I don't fucking know.
But it ties in with stuff that's been thematic to the season, and actually to last season as well, about the nature of the soul and simulacrums and Marcus and so on and so forth. So it's all very thematic. I love how it all ties into
Beardy,
that.
what the fuck?
What?
You're looking too relaxed. That's what's happening.
Oh, I'm just over here having a great time listening to this and thinking about, Jiro's counterpoint to the whole thing. Because, Levette's over here, thinking, I am become as a god. And Jiro's like, yo, people have kids, and that's the same thing. What are you on about? It's not that unique of an ability.
Which is also interesting because it ties in with the fact that Levette has viewed Archie in some ways as a child.
Yeah, and that also leads us.
Her boy normally.
And that also leads me to the. I'll wait. Sorry, I'll wait for the next bit.
But they that conversation ends rather abruptly because Levette is inspired with an idea and Curler is left talking to thin air, not having felt like they got their points across. And with Levette not having got their points across either. So good for drama when the communication doesn't line up correctly. So yay, more story beats there.
I don't even know if it was drama. It was just like, wow, that didn't work at all.
Wow.
I don't mean like drama. I mean like. I don't mean, oh my god, that's like totally drama. I mean in the good future beats because there is misunderstandings.
Do it,
what was
do it, Skrewy. Please.
Oh my god.
But anyway, Levette goes and works on the device, freshly inspired, and also finds some fresh notes on it from Voska, along with a name, which, Beardy, you said you would get into.
Yeah, so a name, the the device, the soul engine, had a name scribbled down on it, and let me just pull my notes up here.
I thought it was going to be an acronym.
Apparently it was, and we all missed it.
And it was the multiphasic oscillating thaumaturgic harmonic innervation resonator.
Mother.
There you go.
Nice.
It's a mother box.
Not a mother box.
I don't understand the reference, but okay.
It's a DC reference. Don't worry about
Oh, okay. Oh, I missed it.
I think it's a magician's reference too. Interesting.
I've only been to DC like once, so.
Yeah, same.
it. No, it's,
Bad
it's not a mother box. That's a copywritten thing.
But it is a mother device.
Yeah.
In the shape of a
But is it an acronym or a backronym? Did you deliberately design it to fit into mother as the word? I'm assuming that. Obviously that.
You're just writing down, it's like, oh my god!
Oh my god!
Mother?
So it's a backronym. I'm just looking for the correct term for it for when I write this up as trivia on the wiki. Anyway. Nicely done on that. Yay for wordplay. And this will lead Levette down some new directions as they try and figure out the power source, the energy source for the mother device, the mother cube, the mother any word other than box. But meanwhile,
I don't know. Maybe Jiro knows where to get the
mother's box.
Where to get the power source for it.
You get a giant grinder and just throw a bunch of mothers in there.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, maybe there's some grinding
the love
going
for
on.
their children will fuel the machine.
Well, if children are the product of love, so you just need a bunch of children. Just grind up children.
Why not both? Porque los dos.
Exactly.
Grind up one and then the other in front of the first. Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is getting dark.
Yeah.
Make a whole group of rogues and dramatic backstories.
Meanwhile, Vera and Petravian have a chat.
They do.
Yeah.
I was so proud of you. I was like, yes, he's doing the thing. I was so excited.
The bridge. Bridges.
The one thing I might change was who to suggest, but it was the only specific Edenite that came like in the second on who to reach out to. But that was, I mean, my mom's dead, so
do we
can't
even
do
know
that.
any other Edenites other than NPC number 2 that we talked to?
I thought it was a really good choice, though, because, as I recall, it was Petravian talking to Corona that let Petravian feel comfortable enough to worship both Eden and Mellifera, because at earlier in the season, Petravian was having that crisis of faith, and that conversation with Corona to get Corona's blessing would make Corona a really good candidate for helping to bridge the differences. That clearly didn't occur to you?
You?
Okay.
It did not occur to me, but you know what? We're gonna go with that.
Xeno, what did you make of the whole thing?
Vera was confused why she had to talk to Edenites. I thought there was supposed to be a bridge for that.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. I was like, why do we need to talk to Edenites? Isn't the whole point is that Petravian's doing this?
You need to cross the bridge. You don't.
I push you down. I walk over you to get to Corona.
Oh no, that sounds so ominous.
Oof. Yeah. No, I'm actually very pleased. It was the statement of that Riz was that Keni said, "Let it simmer." It's like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Don't push it.
As MJ would say, let it simmer.
Let it simmer. Let it simmer. Let that go in there. I'm very pleased that that conversation turned, and a lot of it was off the cuff. The reaching out for when when you only look for what you need, you limit what you can. You limit yourself to the possibilities. I was particularly proud of myself in that one.
Yeah, that was really good and profound.
Do you think that the conversation went better than you expected, or?
Yes. Yes.
Also, I'm interested in what everyone thought about Vera's sugarcoating of the other cult activity.
Oh, Vera.
Like, oh, they're just misunderstood. They're judged.
I imagine in these moments, I always think of what would Soul say to Vera, because Riz obviously does not have the same relationship that Soul and Vera have. But I imagine Soul would probably say, Vera, they killed people and, like, also their own kind? Like, it's a little fucked up, don't you think? Like, they sacrificed people. That's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay.
I mean,
Not okay.
people.
It's not okay.
They were their own people, Vera. In the hive.
Vera, to me, spends a great deal of their time and energy trying to focus on a better future, which is laudable, but it also makes them very disinclined to look back on their past, especially the parts of it that don't reflect well on them or on the hive. And you can correct me if I'm wrong there, Xeno.
Oh, no, the hive can do no wrong.
Oh, Vera.
Dangerous. Question for you, Xeno.
Yeah.
Vera was more receptive to Petravian's overtures than I would have expected. How would Vera have reacted to these suggestions at, say, the beginning of this season?
Yo,
He
that boy wasn't part of the hive.
Yeah, he wasn't part of the hive.
Fuck that.
Okay, how would he have? Beg your pardon. How would Vera have reacted if Petravian had voiced this around the time or sooner as a member of the hive than they have right now? Would Vera have been less receptive, I guess, is my question.
A bit less receptive, because, like, obviously, just joined and you're trying to, like, say, oh, no, this is better. It's like, but, like I said, Vera places their full trust in Petravian. So they'd still be slightly receptive, but even given the smaller amount of time that has passed, it's still an increase in trust.
Does Vera, this is maybe slightly tangential, but I'm curious if you can speak to whether or not Vera still fears that Petravian distrusts her, and whether this ties in with that at all?
I feel like Vera is concerned that nobody trusts her most of the time. Vera has a lot of self-confidence issues in that regard in terms of who to trust. And the only thing that has ever eased that is having people become part of the hive. But also a lot of people that are part of the hive don't know about what Vera did. So that's still in the back of her mind, this embarrassment of knowing that this person knows literally the worst mistake I ever made in my life. The thing I can't live down.
I will be very curious to see if at any point in the future, perhaps after the campaign, but I wonder if Vera will ever reach a point where they can admit what they did to the hive.
They are considering it. Definitely. Like, I have a potential plan in place to actually potentially do that at the end of the campaign, but I'm not sure.
That definitely represents a lot of growth for the character.
Yep.
Oh,
I have a
very
scene.
cool.
I have a scene that I have in my mind.
Oh man.
Well, from that conversation, I believe a couple of days go by. We reach the town of Heshan. Heshan? We reach
Heshan.
a town en route to the
Did
capital
we have
city.
the whole conversation?
And Riz and Levette grab some food for a private chat over lunch in the city, and Keni is shaking their head. So, Keni,
I hated
How
this
do you feel about that
conversation so
conversation?
much. I hated it. I hated being part of it. I don't like it. I felt like I was being held at gunpoint. It was not a good no.
I was
he's never good.
confused about it.
I was very confused. I was like, why is this happening? Why am I being asked this? Nothing in the previous conversation has indicated that this is where any of this was going, and I am now incredibly confused. What the fuck is happening?
Also, it wasn't really conversation as much as it was like 2 questions about.
And then the
how
lunch
you
was
feel.
done, and I don't know why it was necessary, and I don't understand why it happened. I don't get it. I just don't. I'm sorry. It lost on me.
I honestly at one point thought that it was going to go to a really weird place, which, I mean, it did, but I thought it was going to go weirder, which I don't think Graham would have taken it there, but in my mind I was like, what's the worst case scenario of this conversation? Oh, Levette thinks that this thing needs to be powered by love, and oh, Levette is seeing how close Jiro and Risen are getting.
I was worried that's where it was going too. I was like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
Will you fuck in front of my machine, please?
I knew that Graham wasn't going to do that, but at
No.
the same time, that was the worst case scenario
I mean,
that entered into my mind.
I didn't have that thought at all, like, of it going there. I was just like, it's weird that you're pulled aside, like, to a lunch just to be asked, like, a basic question in a way. Like, how does being next to someone you love make you feel? Like, that's just, like, a thing you can just ask someone.
Yeah, it was uncomfy. I would have hated that in real life. I hated it then. I don't want it again.
I felt bad for Levette in that feeling is such a rare thing for them and such a distant and absent thing for them that they have to seek outside perspectives on it in order to remember what it feels like. There is an element of tragedy in that underscores all that they've lost with Moira, and to a certain extent, and as a different type of love, what they're losing with Archie. So that is sad. Still an awkward and weird conversation, but that is sad.
Anyways,
maybe we should move on.
It was awkward. Anyways, Kurla and Levette talked again after that.
Which I think we're on a slightly more in sync with each other in this conversation. Because it touched on some of the same things that Levette touched on with Riz, namely, what does love feel like? And Kurla was able to offer a different perspective on that, which was kind of the familial love versus anything romantic or erotic or love of country or any of the different types of love, which I hope was helpful to Levette. I think Kurla still has no idea what Levette is up to and was very concerned that Levette was going to take that conversation and run in the wrong direction with it, vis-a-vis thinking that grief and guilt were going to be more powerful conceptually than love, which isn't something that Kurla believes, otherwise Kurla wouldn't still be around. But that's on Levette. So I will be curious as a player to find out what Levette took from that conversation and whether it was what Kurla was trying to put forth. Kenny? You looked like you had thoughts on that.
didn't understand most of the conversation. I apologize.
What is it that we're not like getting across in the conversations
Levette talks
that's making
in
them...
circles, and then my brain stops working.
Fair enough.
I don't know if I'm like stupid or what, because I'm just like, I don't know what's happening anymore. I was tired.
It was late.
I was like, there's too much philosophy happening for this time of night.
Well, for me, like I listened to the entirety of the conversation one and that, and as soon as the conversation began again with kind of the same points,
yeah, I kind of was just said
I was kind of like drifted off. It's like, oh, okay.
So.
Well, hopefully the audience got more out of the session. Or at least those moments of the session.
But Beardy pulled the camera away, and it wasn't a joke this time,
Yeah.
thank fucking God. where a mysterious figure was watching the group, and I'm so excited.
Still could be Karis.
Fuck you, Xeno.
We don't know who it is.
Karis showing up being like, how dare you forget my birthday? I'm going to stab all of you to death.
I hope so. And my pain.
Nobody even knows Vera's birthday in the group.
No, I don't. I thought you said that Vera doesn't know either.
Not really. I mean, they definitely don't celebrate it if they do. It doesn't matter to them. That's what happens when you lose everything. You're just racing the forest.
I mean, both Kurla and Riz don't have birthdays, so we're not probably going to be the ones to talk about that. That's, if anything, it'd be up to like Petravian and Levette.
I'm contemplating having Kurla choose one by the end of the campaign, but we'll see if that happens. That's been on the back burner for me for a while.
I don't think Riz will pick one because they're like, there's definitely one, and I think I'll remember it once I get my memories back. So why would I?
Won't pick one. What now?
A birthday.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, sure, it's like every world they've been to has like a different time calendar, anyways. Like, it's all weird, so it's never gonna match up really.
Well, Skrewy, did you have any final thoughts on the episode or on the mysterious figure who is revealed to be watching us? Watching our every move?
Or on the second Levette-Kurla conversation.
That's true.
Yes.
Take it in order there. Final thoughts of the episode. Fucking heaviest one for me personally. But then it kind of came back up in the back on track for the right direction. Really cool info on Levette. Hey, I'm a god now. I am become Osmandius. I am Destroyer of Worlds, and for the
No, keep going. I'll smack you down for that later. Keep going.
You may be crossing some. Keeps
crossing the streams there. Sorry. The dark figure, the mysterious figure. There, mysterious figure. Yeah, there's nothing, no idea on that. Unless it's just a spy sent to watch after us, because I don't think it's gonna be anything related to Marcus, because I don't think he cares.
Certainly can't blame them for spying on us.
It's like, hi guys.
Well, who knows? It could be a person from Marcus's organization. It could be someone from the West spying on you guys. It could be another person like Jiro, who's like an agent within
Alec.
Kintao spying on you guys. Or it could be an entirely new organization that is interested in what you guys are doing.
It's just gonna be a fucking street vendor.
We'll
It's
see.
like, hey, do you want any popcorn?
What if Alec?
And I see from Kenny's reaction that they already have a theory.
Share your theory.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, DM it to me.
I saw the saucer eyes for a second.
Why?
Because it's a spoiler.
Does it by any chance have to do with snake eyes?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Plus, if you state it, then Beardy will have no choice but to change it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
He
that's
already
true.
knows what I'm thinking, so he knows exactly what I'm thinking.
I called it out because I watched your reaction when I said it. That's the
There
beauty of
was-
having a delay in the stream, is that I can say something and then I can watch your reaction and see if you pick up what I'm putting down. Which, speaking of, in this session, I also hinted at something else that you may or may not have picked up on, but we'll see.
No, wait, no,
You
no,
can't just
no,
leave it at that.
no.
Come on, you've got to give us a little bit
Well,
more than that.
We'll circle back around to it someday. Don't worry.
Goodness.
No, please.
Not today.
Don't do that to
Okay.
me.
Well, that's pretty much everything for tonight, folks. Today? Yeah, fuck it.
Today, tonight.
Today, tonight,
Potato,
tomorrow.
potato. All right.
Potato, potato.
Afternoon, good evening,
We
good night.
will soon. Wait. We will see you all next weekend for another session of Check Please, 8 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, as always. And thank you all for rolling with us. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.